Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel and we talk about it in a positive way. And today happens to be Sci-Fi Sunday on this channel where we talk about all things sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book related. Nothing gets more fantasy than D&D and all of these fantasy realms. And one series has leaned into that for years, Stranger Things. Well, now Stranger Things is getting ready to present to us its last season. But along with this comes a lot of news, some updates on the different spin-offs that we're going to be getting from the Stranger Things universe. So let's jump right into it. Now, if you are a fan of Stranger Things, you're going to want to hear some of this news. There's a lot of information that's really interesting that we recently found out. But what exactly is some of this information? What does it mean? How will it impact us as viewers? Well, Netflix has announced that there's going to be some spinoffs. The Duffer Brothers have said that they won't be a part of all of the spinoffs, but they will continue to produce. It will continue to be them behind everything, just kind of other people taking over, writing their own spin on all of the crazy things. Now, there are two that I could talk about here that I've heard about that seem like they're kind of interesting for different reasons. The first one is a series that kind of has all new characters. There is this Stranger Things spinoff that the Duffer Brothers elaborated on to the now ending show, saying we did every last remaining thing we wanted to do by the end of Stranger Things' 5th and final season. It's a complete story. It's done. And thus, the forthcoming spinoff show will start with new characters and a clean slate. But it will keep the brand and style of storytelling of Stranger Things, i.e. the kids' adventures and the sci-fi fantasy. They go on to say that they're going to live in a bit of a different world, but there's going to be a connective tissue, kind of like it's an anthology in a way. They explained that trying to increasingly expand what would become an insanely convoluted mythology, it starts to get frustrating from a story perspective. Instead, with a new story, you're not tied up in knots. There's something refreshing about it. The hope is that you're not just doing something just to do it. And Matt and Ross said they will create the spinoff show and be heavily creatively involved as they help shepherd it along. But they will give away the showrunner duties instead to focus on their new 4-year film and TV deal with Paramount. We'll hopefully be writing and directing something new in the meantime. They also went on to tell us that there is going to be another show, Tales from 85. And okay, I like the idea of them starting fresh, kind of giving us new characters and a new outlook on the series. I think that could be really interesting. Do you think that could be really interesting? Make sure you drop that comment, let me know. But there's also this other spinoff to talk about, and this spinoff is insane as well. And this is Stranger Things Tales from 85. And this is going to be kind of weird because they did include a featurette, some images, and a full voice cast for this animated show. So in celebration of Stranger Things Day, the day that Will Byers went missing in Hawkins, Indiana, they showed us on YouTube not only the artwork for some of this, but a little small featurette talking about it, in addition to showing us the first 5 minutes of the last season of the show. And then there's also this reveal as well, which was kind of really cool. Just this idea that you can see this animated version of some of the characters that you love from the series. The creators of Stranger Things talked about their inspirations for the show, saying that they wanted to capture the magic of the original show for the animated series, which will take place between seasons 2 and 3 of Stranger Things. So alongside this, Netflix also released the full voice cast for the upcoming show. And there are some interesting choices here. And I won't get into all the voice cast, but the idea of the show was to make it sort of this animated TV show, you know, sort of this cartoon from the 80s, which Stranger Things is very much an 80s show. So to have that vibe, that nostalgic feeling of waking up on Saturday morning, running downstairs or running into your living room and wherever you lived, finding the nearest TV and diving into all of your favorite Saturday morning cartoons, if they can really have that nostalgic feeling, I think that would be great. Because I remember growing up and seeing some of the same types of things, except that in the 90s and the 2000s, all of that went away. But if you go back far enough, and a lot of it's available on YouTube, you'll find so many 80s cartoons that kids looked up in the 80s to watch. I remember waking up and watching some of the most insane cartoons that you would ever see in the 80s. And it was so much fun. And then everything seemed to have its own TV show. Mork and Mindy had its own TV show. And things like Gilligan's Island, all these things back when cartoons were the big thing had their own spin-offs, had their own cartoons. And I remember more specifically seeing things like the real Ghostbusters. For me, that was kind of always something I remember seeing. And that was really cool too. The idea that we got a Ghostbusters TV show that was this animated version of them. And even though it didn't feel like the movies, even though it didn't have the same look as the movies, it was still that spinoff that we loved. And them doing something like this with Stranger Things is something that I think is really cool. This is really exciting news if you are a fan of Stranger Things. If you are a fan of the 80s in general, you might want to check some of this stuff out just for that nostalgic vibe it could give. The idea that they're going to spin off the show and give us new characters with a one spinoff and then this other spinoff, Tales from 85, is going to take place between 2 seasons of the show is another really cool thing to think about. I think it has a lot of potential, and it's good to see that the Stranger Things universe is not going away. Just knowing that it's out there and we're going to get more Stranger Things tells is kind of exciting if you're a fan. And I, for one, have always enjoyed the Stranger Things TV show. And I'm excited to see where they take things in the future with both of these spinoffs and whatever else comes our way. But that's where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Are you excited about this? Not excited? Do you think that Stranger Things needed to go away? What are your thoughts on the Stranger Things spinoffs that we know about? And what would you like to see? Whatever you guys are thinking, there's no wrong answer. Just remember to be nice to each other because we're all fans at the end of the day. And I want to hear from each and every one of you. So make sure you are leaving me that comment in the comment box below. And make sure you share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this crazy conversation as well. And then, if you're a fan of positive content talking about your fandom, then you're going to want to hit that like button because you're letting the algorithm know that you want to see people talk more positive about the things that you love. And by hitting that like button, it may just help the algorithm to give you more positive channels. So it can't hurt. So make sure you hit that like button. And if you're a fan of our channel personally, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it. Fandom is family.